Hi, Mr. Tuguru. It's an honor to have you with us today. How do you feel about coming to Shanghai this time?
It's great to be here. Great to be back in Shanghai and China. Last time when I was here in 2019 in December, just before the COVID and pandemic. This has been almost little more than 4 years. I am glad I am back, and China is changing. So is the world. China is developing very fast and using the different strategy and different development model and modernization model in the world. It should be checked and studied and observed, and it should be example for the other countries as well. Especially in Africa, especially in the Middle East, especially in Latin America, especially in Southeast Asia. Especially if you look at, we're living in Shanghai, very developed city, Shenzhen, the other one. These are important cities in the context of the urbanization, in the context of the modernization.
As we know, the third plenary session of the 20th CPC Central Committee was held in Beijing in July. One of the key reforms is to promote the facilitation of going out and bringing in, and to expand the international exchanges and the cooperations. How do you view this kind of reform, and do you like this kind of people-to-people exchange?
China is using different diplomatic efforts and in the context of the soft power, maybe different than the Western understanding of the soft power and diplomacy, which is the people's exchange between the countries, between societies and cultures. I think it's important. They are using their own understanding of the cultural diplomacy. One of the most important thing from my understanding, especially in the third preliminary session, China doesn't want to lose the cultural and traditional value in the modernization era. Modernization, that doesn't mean losing the culture and tradition. Third preliminary session is important in this context. Therefore, they are trying to use their own understanding of the modernization with culture and tradition together.
So currently, the center of global power is gradually shifting to the south. So how do you view this kind of changes, and what role do you think China plays to do the efforts in the growth of the global south?
I mean, European countries or global north used to dominate the world. This is not the case anymore. Thanks to China for these changes. Again, United States is different than these colonialist powers. United States is also a new power, like China actually, emerged in the 20th century, second part of the 20th century. And from my own understanding, my perspective, if the United States and China can collaborate on the global governance and issue, we will solve some important problems that we are dealing today more efficiently. I don't think it should be competition or conflict between the United States and China. Both countries are new countries. I mean, of course, they have a long history. China has a 5,000 years history. But United States and China, economically and politically, became the world power after the 1950s, after the World War II. Therefore, they know the modern world more than the others. But they also know the tradition and culture and the history. In the United States, in Washington, D.C., of course, there are some groups and people, they are not happy about the China's modernization and development. Very similar people, they are not happy about the modernization of the India either, or African countries either. There will always be this type of people in the politics. Most American people in the in the rural areas, they're also looking at the China, that the Chinese modernization and urbanization and technological development in China. I think they admire also. This is the most important things. We need to look at more positive. We shouldn't stay in the negative environment with the negative people and creating the problem for the U.S.-China relations.